Today we're going to talk about some awards that have been awarded to some cruise lines. We're also going to talk about food on cruise ships a little bit more. I just thought I'd give you a quick update to how everything here is going on the Island Princess with that. We're also going to talk about making sure you keep track of your onboard account. Holland America has made some announcements of some things that they're adding to their Total Eclipse cruises and lots more to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. I would like to start off by inviting you to please subscribe to our channel. We need to have you with us, and we would love to have you here in our wonderful Let's Go family, the amazing community that we've got. So hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it. If you click on that, that makes it so that you will get a notification every time we put out a video and every time we go live so that you don't miss us. Also, if you appreciate our video, would you please give this video a thumbs up, because actually it really does help us a lot. So thank you very much. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Monday, it's July 17th of 2023. We're here on the beautiful Island Princess, and today is a sea day. We are crossing the North Atlantic, if you can believe it. Yesterday afternoon, early evening, we left the Shetland Islands and are now aiming towards Iceland. We will stop in our very first port in Iceland tomorrow. It's Seyðisfjörður. That's my own pronunciation. I don't know how they say that, but we are really excited to go there. It's the only port that we don't have an excursion booked, the other ports that we do. So we're going to either have to choose something later today, or else we're going to just walk around and see things on our own, or maybe see what excursions are offered when we get off the ship. So that's what we've got planned for tomorrow, but don't miss our sail away because it's going to be lots of fun. Now, I do want to let you know though, as we are zipping across the Atlantic here, the North Atlantic, it is really quite windy. Gordon's going to insert here some footage for you so that you can see what that looks like right now. But what I wanted to let you know a little bit in connection with the wind is they have emptied the swimming pools. This morning when Gordon walked by, they were full, and then when he came back by, they were half, and then it seems like they're even lower now. So I think that they are emptying the pools probably because it helps move some of the weight from the top area of the ship down lower, and that makes it easier to have her not sway quite so much. I actually read a bunch of that before we came on this trip. So along with that, apparently the Norwegian Primo was docked there in Zeebrugge, Belgium, and that was on the 15th, and there were gusts of wind during the time she was there. I believe it was from 7 in the morning until 5 p.m. She was in port, and actually some gusts of wind blew hard enough that it blew her like off the moorings. So she started to drift, and along of course came with her the gangplank and ended up going in the water. I don't have any pictures of that that belong to me, so I can't show you, but really it's amazing what the wind can do. When we were sailing, I've told you before, on the Coral Princess, some of the time it was very windy on our way back up the side of Chile to come up to Santiago at the end of our cruise. It wasn't unmanageable in any way, but you can really feel the wind blow sometimes. So that's kind of, I thought it would link the two stories together. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is Holland America. Holland America has two Total Eclipse cruises going. First of all, I should let you know that. And they have added an astronomer to one of them. So there is the 22-night sailing on the Koningsdam that is going to leave San Diego, and it will end up in Vancouver, but it's going to leave on April 5th, and it's going to go south from there, so that on April 8th, the day of the total eclipse, they will do that scenic cruising. And they are going to have a professor on board from University of Southern California, San Diego. His name is Adam Bergesser, and he will be on board to talk about everything to do with that total eclipse. So like I said, they are heading down to Mexico first, and then they will loop out to Hawaii, and then they will end in Vancouver. So I wanted to let you know what that itinerary looks like, because like I said, it's a 22-night voyage, and I actually took out some group space on that cruise because, first of all, if anyone would like to book it with me, then you get to have that on board credit. And also, if this follows the pattern of the other Eclipse cruises, the ones that Princess has got those two Total Eclipse cruises, one on the Discovery Princess and one on the Emerald Princess, and they are both very much weightless waitlisted. Like, the wait lists are huge on those. And so when I had some space left on the Emerald Princess, I was able to get some of you on that cruise, even though Gordon and I aren't going on that cruise. And the nice thing is you get the group space at the price that when I reserved it, what they were giving. So it was better than what was being offered, and you get that extra onboard credit. So if you take a look at that Holland America cruise and you want to go, just send me an email and I would be delighted to help you with it. And like I said, you get that extra onboard credit. The itinerary, really quickly here, it does leave, like I said, San Diego on April 5th. April 6th is a day at sea, and then that next day, April 7th, you're in Cabo San Lucas from 11 a.m. until 11 p.m., which is kind of nice. Gives you all day long and into the evening. The April 8th, they are doing that scenic cruising for the total Eclipse. The 9th, they are in Puerto Vallarta, and then from April 10th through the 15th are sea days. The 16th, they are in Kona, Hawaii. The 17th, they are in Lahaina, if I'm saying that right, Hawaii. And then the 18th and 19th, so nice. You get an overnight in Honolulu. And then the 20th, they are in Hilo, Hawaii. The 21st through the 25th are sea days again. And then the 26th, you get to be in Victoria, British Columbia, which is really nice. You get there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you get to be there clear until 11 p.m. And then that next day you end up in Vancouver. Fabulous cruise. Fabulous cruise. If Gordon could miss enough work, we would, well, we're already going on the Discovery Princess, but it's the kind of cruise we would definitely want to go on if we could go. So I wanted to make sure that you know about that. And then also, in addition to that, they have also got a cruise on the Zaandam that will be a 14-day solar eclipse round cruise. It's just going to sail on March 30th, round trip from San Diego. Now that one didn't have any group space left. I think I was a little bit slow to pick that up. I've had the other for a little bit. So like I said, if you want to go, this would be a good time. As we get closer and closer to the cruise, then they will start to recall group space. So if you want to go, let me know. Now the next thing that I want to talk to you about, and this is really interesting to me, so interesting. The other day, Princess was so excited, and I don't blame them. I am with them. I was excited with them. They won like 15 awards for the wine that they have on board and the options that they offer for wine and everything to do with that on board their cruise lines, on board their cruise ships, sorry. 15 awards. That's amazing. That's excellent. And when I was on my live, Simone mentioned it, and I was like, well, it depends kind of on who's voting. And I kind of say that tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, it is absolutely true. You look at the different awards that come out throughout the year, that the cruise lines are awarded for different things. It can be for the wine, it can be for the onboard service, entertainment, just everything. And different cruise lines win different awards from different people. But honestly, I think that these cruise line awards that came out the other day really do highlight that it really just depends on who is voting. And this is true across the board, you know. If you, no matter where you live, I am sure that you see places that say they were voted the best by whatever, and it really just depends on who voted. So the cruiseline.com member choice awards just came out, and Princess is not listed in any of them, which I think, you know what I think. I think that there are lots of cruise lines. I think they're excellent. I think the most important thing is to choose the cruise line based on the experience that you're wanting. That's what the key is to enjoying the cruise line that you're on. If you book a cruise line without paying attention to the onboard experience, then if you're disappointed, no surprise, right? So I was very interested. So they have, here are the different categories. They give one for the overall cruise line, one for the onboard experience, food and dining, onboard activities and entertainment, service and staffs, the staterooms overall, as well as like I said, the overall experience on the cruise line. And like I said, Princess was not listed at all. So let me tell you a few things that come to my mind just from our onboard experience here on the Island Princess, and really what I've experienced on Princess overall. So first of all, as they said that they were giving out awards for the best stateroom, hands down, this last year we sailed on the Explorer of the Seas, and we had a junior suite on that ship. I would say that the cabins, the regular balcony cabins on Princess, are much nicer than that cabin was. It's bigger. The junior suite is bigger, but overall, as far as how it's appointed, the bed, comfortable, just everything, much nicer on a Princess cruise. The other thing that really stuck out to me was the service and staff. I really think that most cruise lines offer excellent service. I think that every once in a while you can be on a cruise and have maybe a room steward that's not the greatest, or servers in the dining room who aren't quite as quick as you wish. But at the same time, I really think that they all work very hard and do an excellent job overall. So I think that's really hard to choose. This time on our cruise, our cabin steward, his name is Jesus, and he is wonderful. He is always around, he is always anxious to help, and he does a really, really nice job with our cabin. And they do it twice a day. They service it in the evening. He just comes in and fluffs everything up and turns down the bed. There are no chocolates on pillows anymore on Princess, but that's okay. And but he does a really good job, and he is very accessible, very easy to find if you need anything. So we have been very pleased with the service. As far as the entertainment goes, the entertainment here on board, I would say, is really good. Last night we went to a show called, what's it called? Something about dancing. It's not
So You Want to Dance.
So You Want to Dance is what it's called, Gordon said. And it was okay. It was it's okay. It wasn't great. I don't know what happened to their magnificent production shows. Last year, when I got to go on the Discovery Princess at the end of October, they had rock opera for sure comes to my mind. I don't know if they never ran that on some of these smaller ships, or if they have quit doing that. But they should probably bring it back. Last night it was okay. I mean, it gave you somewhere to go, but it wasn't spectacular at all. The singers and dancers were excellent, but whoever was in charge of the choreography and putting the whole show together, just plain, it wasn't anything special at all. But this evening they are doing magic again. They already had one magic show. They're going to bring magic back again tonight. I am really excited. We went to the show that had Jason Keeler, I think is how you say his last name. He sings beautifully. His voice is beautiful. He sings pieces that are perfectly they go with his voice, and we are really looking forward to when he'll show up on the ship here again. So that's kind of where we sit with entertainment. Not good, not bad. But throughout the day though, let me tell you, I thought it would be kind of fun to tell you some of the activities that we've got on board today, since it's a sea day. And they have, like, it is a packed schedule, but like we've had watercoloring, we've had a class about making paper flowers, they've had Zumba, they have line dancing, they've had 2 of the port talks. One covered the first 2 ports we'll be at in Iceland, and then another one this afternoon we're going to pop over to covers 2 more ports. They've got one all about the Bismarck, the German ship during World War II. They have got, so they've got like skincare ones like you always see. They've got lots of trivia. They've got people playing the piano. Just so many things are going on that there is truly something for everyone. I think it would be really hard to find a cruise line that had a more packed day than what Princess has today. I don't know that it's always like this. I'm anxious to see what it's like on this ship in October. If anything on this cruise is indicative of that, we're going to have a magnificent cruise. So everybody get excited. It is just absolutely wonderful. So lots to do here on board the ship, and it goes through the whole day. It started really early this morning. So it is Monday at 8 a.m. The first thing on here is Bible study. The next thing was a speedy Sudoku challenge that was at 9. But it takes both columns of the pattern here to get us just to things at 4:30. So much going on. And they showed the movie Encanto up on Movies Under the Stars, which it was too cold for that. We were supposed to be in the sanctuary today and we just canceled it. The funny thing is like nobody has been up at the sanctuary to cancel it. So finally we had to call customer service this morning because we couldn't find anybody there again, and just tell them that we wanted to cancel it because it's freezing cold. And Gordon had to explain to the person at customer service what the sanctuary was, where it was located on the ship, and why we wanted to cancel it. So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, we're having a wonderful time. So wanted to let you know all about that. And so the bottom line is when you see these awards and somebody wins 15, oh, absolutely, hats off. Does that mean that they're the only ones? For example, the one with Princess with all of the wine awards, that they're the only ones with excellent wine? Heavens no. And the same thing with the cruiseline.com awards. That Princess didn't show up, does that mean that she is worse than everybody else? Heavens no. So really pay attention to things like that, okay? Don't let that stuff lead you astray. The next thing I want to tell you about, we were so excited. We went to the main dining room 2 nights ago, and we sit down to eat, and you know what? It was Italian night. Now they don't have the waiters. They used to have all of the wait staff wear like those Italian striped shirts with a red scarf, and they looked Italian, and it was really fun. But they don't do that anymore, but everything on the menu almost was Italian food in the main part. They still had the Princess favorites, and so you could still order the steak if you wanted, and the fettuccine, the fish and chips, a few things like that. But everything else was Italian, which was wonderful. And so before as we started to look at the menu, we were kind of just deciding what we were going to choose. And then the waiter let us know that you could still order. Remember back in the old days when you would go on Italian night and they would be cooking that wonderful pasta in those big like pans they had at different locations around the dining room, and the whole dining room would smell like tomatoes and garlic like Italy, and it would just be wonderful. Well, they don't cook it out there anymore, but they do cook it in the kitchen. So the waiter told us that we could order that pasta dish. So that is what I chose. And do you know what? It was amazing. It was as good as it used to be. It was spectacular. Absolutely delicious. Wish I had the recipe for that. But yeah, so that is really great news, everyone. So if you're on a cruise and you go and it's Italian night and they don't mention that pasta to you, ask if they are making it. It's penne pasta, and then it's like a tomato sauce, but they put in a little bit of peppers. So it's a little bit spicy, but it's the perfect mix of spicy and sweet and tangy with the tomatoes, and it is outstanding. It's not so spicy that you can't eat it at all. It's just delicious. So we were really happy about that. Last night when we went, last night we had been in the Shetland Islands, and so it was really fun. They had several more British cuisine options. So they had bubbles and squeak. I'd never had that before, so we shared that together, and it was really, really good. Like, I would order that again. It was really, really good. I had the pasta, and it was okay, and Gordon had beef stroganoff, and it was okay. So not remarkable, but not bad. So that's where I think we're going to be with cruise line food overall on these large cruise ships, is I think that every once in a while we're going to find something that is absolutely fantastic and knocks our socks off, but I think a lot of it's going to be fine. And so I hope that all of you will let me know what you're experiencing on the different cruise lines. I love to hear when from people who are on other cruise lines as well as on Princess. So don't think we don't want to hear just because you're not on Princess, because we really do. Gordon and I really enjoy other cruise lines as well. We really enjoy Celebrity. We really enjoy Holland America. Those would be the two that we enjoy the most, along with Princess. We have cruised the most on Princess, though, by a long shot. So the next thing I want to make sure that you all know about is check your onboard account, check your onboard account, check your onboard account again. We have just been on since Wednesday, and this is Monday. And the problem that we are experiencing is a couple of things to let you know about. First of all, they keep on charging us again for excursions. So we had an excursion booked yesterday in the Shetland Islands, and late at night the night before, like at about 8 o'clock, they brought more tickets for that same excursion at a different time of day, and they charged us for it again. Well, we ran down to the excursion desk and it was closed. I went down to customer service, and just so you know, they can't do anything for you about excursions. Absolutely nothing. They don't know anything about them. They can't touch the accounting for them. They can't do anything with the tickets for them. So just save yourself standing in that line. But anyway, so then I just, funny thing, then I was going to the gift shop. So it's called Calypso Cove here on board the Island Princess. So I'm just looking around there, and then I paid for something. And as the process, I had set that envelope of tickets down when I saw that, I had them with me because I was trying to get help with them. And I almost forgot them. And I mentioned, just as the nice lady was handing them to me, I said, oh, I've got to follow up on these again. They printed out more tickets and charged us again. And this other lady in the gift shop overheard me and said, oh, same thing happened to me too. And I said, well, what did you do about it? And she's like, well, I turned it in and wrote a note on it. So I wrote a note on our envelope, sealed it, and turned it in. and we have gotten credited back for one of them. And so the excursion office is supposed to be open again in a little while, and we're going to go try to fix that. But in the meantime, just as we've been here in our cabin, they slid an envelope under the door with more tickets for the excursion that we've got booked for the day after tomorrow. So we're going to have to go iron that out. So just keep a really close watch and make sure that you don't get charged again for anything, because we've got to, like I said, we've got to go get that fixed. And then just a heads up, if you didn't know this, because I guess I've never really thought of it before or not noticed it before, but when you're on Princess and you've got a credit card that is backing up your account, they are going to put a hold at the end of every day on your credit card for how much your balance due is. And so they don't, my understanding, I don't think the charge goes through, because we just see pending charges pop up. Like on the first day it was, this much, and the next day it was this much. But what they are doing is holding those funds so that you can't go past your credit limit, or if someone tries to be devious and cancel a card, then the cruise line doesn't know it until at the end when they try to settle your account. So just be aware in how you manage. If you have a low credit limit, be aware that that's going to go on that card, so you're not going to be able to use it for other things. I think for the most part, people don't have to worry about that. But if you do have to worry about that, just know that that hold is going to sit there, and then at the end of the cruise, they're going to settle your whole balance and put the charge all the way through. Like I said, I understand completely why the cruise lines do that. Princess is probably not the only one that does, because they need to make sure that they get their money for what you have spent during the time that you're on board. Wanted to make sure you know about that. Another thing really quickly that I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of is this U.S. State Department has announced that they are going to have events in different places around the whole United States. If you are applying for your first time of having a passport, you can go, and a lot of people are going to be able to get them in person during those events. So if you're someone that has been wanting to get a passport and you're worried about the wait, this is going to be a good way to do it. So just go ahead and look that up, and we'll put the link below this video so that you can look along, follow along and see when they're going to have an event that is close to you that you can go to and get your passport. I think it's a great idea so that people don't have to wait as long for their passport to come up. If you are needing to renew your passport, you're still going to have to send everything in. So as we keep telling you here, keep an eye on the expiration date of your passport so that you're sure to have your new one in time to go on the cruise that you expect it for. The other thing, now when we're talking about food here on Princess, we've been thoroughly enjoying ours, of course, but I wanted to let you know, and I am anxious to see if this is going to come to Princess or not, quite frankly, because on Carnival, they are going to start having more late night options. So on Carnival, they have had the option that you can get pizza really late into the wee hours of the morning, and the same thing it sounds like with soft serve ice cream. I'm excited to see how this works when we go on the celebration at the beginning of November. But anyway, let me tell you what they're going to start serving. They are going to have chicken and noodle soup, coleslaw, potato salad, chips and salsa, fried chicken tenders with a honey mustard sauce, and hot dogs with chili or grilled onions on them, an Italian meatball sandwich, and a ham and cheese roll. They also say that Chicago style pizza will also be available. So they've just had, I guess, the regular pizza, just regular thin crust. Regular thin crust is what they always have on Princess out by the pool. Today is when it's going to start. And so we will be really excited to hear how this rolls out on Carnival and what everyone thinks about it. It sounds like it will probably hit different ships at different times. And they said that maybe according to the demographics and the itinerary and everything, that might affect the hours that this additional food is available. So let us all know what you think. And those of you that get to experience it sooner than later, let us know if it's reminiscent at all of the midnight buffets they used to have. I did not get to cruise in the days when they had those midnight buffets, but Gordon did, and he said they were sure fun. So I'm just really excited to hear what it's like. They have not said what venues will have this food yet, so it'll just be, we'll all learn about this together, so let us know. So yesterday we were in Lerwick in the Shetland Islands. We got there around 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was a tender port. So first of all, when you embark on a cruise that is not embarking from a port that's in the United Kingdom, but you're going to visit a port in the United Kingdom along the way of your cruise, they have a mandatory immigration program that what you have to do is they bring actual customs officers on board from the United Kingdom, and you have to go get in line, and everyone has to go through the line and let them see your passport. It moves super fast. They had 2 customs officers on board the ship just down in the Bayou Cafe restaurant, and the line wound around, but truly it went really fast once they started. And you just walk up to them, they take your passport and look at your picture, they look at you, and then they give it back. And then as you leave that area, you have to swipe your medallion, and they will hand you a card that says that you're immigration cleared. As we were leaving the ship to go on our excursion to get on the tender, they had it so that you had to show your card. At least when we were there, you had to show your card as you were coming down the stairs. The Princess crew member wanted to see it. After that, you didn't have to show your card, you didn't have to show your passport again. In fact, we after we got done with that, we had time. After we got done showing our passport to the customs officer, we just came up and put it back in our safe. We didn't feel like we needed to bring it on shore, and we surely didn't. So we met down in the Provence dining room, and then we went and got on the tender together, and that's how Princess runs it. If you need to use a tender to go on an excursion, that's the way they run it. If you are going much later in the day, like they ran the same tour that we were doing, that our meeting time was 9:30, they ran it again at 2:30, and for that one, you were supposed to meet on the pier at 2:20. It's because we had already been in port 5 hours, and so they figured most people, I'm sure, would want to be off, or you had plenty of time to be able to do that on your own. But when they're first thing in the morning with Princess, you always meet and then you go ashore together. It's a really good way to make sure that you get an early time on the tender. They don't have to worry about people not being all together. So we went ahead and did that. And then our tour was called Easy Shetland Scenic Western Drive. We went out, hopped on a bus. We had the most enchanting bus driver. He was just the nicest guy. I think he knows most of the people on the 2 islands that we were on there. And he was kind. He talked to Gordon and I a bunch about things, told us lots of local information, was absolutely delightful. And then we had a tour guide, and she was just fine. She did a good job. They drove us all around a couple of islands there. The island that Lerwick is on, and the one that is next to it there. It starts with a B. And anyway, drove us all over, told us about the history, told us about the Nordic influence there, as well as the influence from the United Kingdom. I love, she said that they have only been a part of Scotland for the last 500 years, sounding like it wasn't very long. And to me, 500 years is quite a while, but I come from a country that's only a couple of 100 years old. So anyway, it was just great. They did a really nice job during that time. We stopped at a jewelry making store where, of course, you could buy jewelry if you wanted, but they also showed us the way that they made it. They did a demonstration, which was fun to see. And then after that, they just drove us around some more and took us back to the main port area there. I think it is a really nice way to get to see a lot of the island. It wasn't very expensive, and they took us around and showed us an awful lot. I did notice that when we got off the ship there were not a lot of taxis available. It doesn't mean that there were not any. It just means that I was kind of looking as we were getting off and walking around there to go get on our bus, just to see what was available, because in some ports you get there and there's lots of taxis all lined up. It might be because it was a Sunday, so keep that in mind. And also, when we came back at the end of our tour, there were not a whole bunch of taxis lined up then either. I like to think that there were some around here and there so that anyone that wanted to use one could, but there were not a whole lot of them lined up and ready to go, and there were not a whole lot of people there offering excursions like we often see in ports. So once we got back, we went ahead and walked around the town a little bit. Indeed, most things were closed. There were just a couple of places that we found open, and one of them, there were a couple of them selling ice cream, so we got some some ice cream that was absolutely delicious. But we mostly just walked around the town to see everything, and then we went back to the ship. So we had a beautiful day. I would love to go to the Shetland Islands again, and I would really enjoy even more going on a day of the week other than Sundays, so that perhaps more places would be open, not only for shopping, but just for more tours being available and having the chance to see more. But it is absolutely beautiful there, and I think we look forward to coming there again sometime. So just wanted to bring you up to date on that. Goran will put a little bit of our footage from our tour after this, and if you think you would like to see the footage, we'll see. Let me know if you would like us to make a video of that whole excursion to have available as well. Let me know what you think. I videoed a lot. I videoed most of the time that the tour guide was speaking, so that I could share that with you if you're all interested. So I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.
This is the thing, it's like, I was running late this morning, so people decide which jacket. I was in the car. The water on the right is the Atlantic Ocean, so we have now crossed over from the North Sea to the Atlantic side. And the buildings around the front of the castle are part of the fishing industry, so we've got some fishing boats and the fish market.